Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's the Critical Nerd here, and I am taking a dive into the wild world of professional wrestling. Today I'm unpacking the massive drama surrounding The Rock in his absence from WrestleMania 41, his jaw-dropping comments, and a fiery response from Busted Open's Dave LaGreca. As a huge fan of The Rock's in-ring legacy, but not so much of Dwayne Johnson's off-screen persona, I've got some thoughts on his ego-driven controversy. So hit that like button. If you're new here, stick around and subscribe, and let's jump in. So WrestleMania 41 this past weekend promised to be epic, but it left fans like myself disappointed. John Cena beat Cody Rhodes for a record 17th world title in the main event on Sunday, marred by Travis Scott's distraction and, more importantly, the absence of The Rock, the final boss. And as a fan of The Rock and his career in the WWE, I was hyped for his role in this storyline. But his no-show, let's just say, it left the ending a little flat. At Elimination Chamber back at the beginning of March, The Rock set up a blockbuster narrative aligning with Cena's heel turn. Fans expected the final boss to deliver at WrestleMania, but when he bailed, it felt like Dwayne's ego took precedence over the story we love. Social media erupted, with fans calling it a creative flop. Now, just to say, WrestleMania did do big numbers. It always does. But that doesn't mean that it was a good show. Rumors swirled about a rift between Dwayne and Triple H's creative team. But it's what Dwayne said next that really showed his narcissistic side and sparked this whole controversy. So, on April 22nd, that was Tuesday, or was it Monday? Tuesday, Dwayne went on the Pat McAfee show to explain his WrestleMania absence. He said he only worked Elimination Chamber as a favor to TKO boss and longtime friend Ari Emanuel, because supposedly ticket sales were lagging, and stepped back to let Cena and Rhodes shine. But then he threw some shade, admitting he'd have booked the main event differently, hinting at disagreements with Triple H. Now, Triple H and The Rock do have a sordid history going back to, well, I'll say the Attitude Era, about 1997. So, wouldn't be surprised if there was still some friction there. Now, this rubs me the wrong way, as it rubs many wrestling fans the wrong way. I love The Rock's charisma in the ring, but Dwayne's ego here feels like he's saying he's above WWE's creative process. Busted Open Radio's Dave LaGreca called him out for dodging accountability, and I gotta say, I agree with Dave on this. Then Dwayne proceeded to double down on Instagram, responding to LaGreca with a comment that shocked wrestling fans. And it reads, "Hi, Dave. The business is a complete work. Always has been, always will be. Every aspect of it. Every match, every interview. Stop ranting. It's not healthy, my friend. Enjoy the show." Oh, yeah. And tell Bubba I have a Grand Marnier and Hush Puppies for all of us. Talking about Bubba Ray Dudley. Now, I gotta say, this is where you have to separate the man from the character. I love The Rock as a character. I have. Since he found his footing and became part of the Nation of Domination back in the day. Even when he was a heel, still loved the character. And I loved it when he laid the smackdown as the people's champ. But this is Dwayne Johnson speaking. The Hollywood narcissist. Dismissing the passion of wrestling fans. Calling it just a work felt like a slap to those of us who live for the WWE's magic. And Dave LaGreca wasn't about to let that slide. He fired back on Busted Open, and as a Rock fan, I felt his hurt. He said, "When you say it's a work, I don't need to be reminded. None of us do. I know that. I'm trying to fight that off from everybody outside our circle who mocks wrestling. I don't need somebody inside the circle who sits at the highest mountain in the business to tell me it's not real." Oh my gosh, wrestling's not real? I'm joking. Dave, well, gotta say he nailed it. If you've watched professional wrestling for any amount of time, you know wrestling's scripted. But it's the storytelling. Some call it a soap opera for men. Dwayne's dismissive attitude undermines the heart of the business The Rock helped build. LaGreca added, "I'm not angry. I'm hurt and disappointed. And I get it. Dwayne's ego is overshadowing The Rock's legacy." Now, I got to admire Dave's defense of wrestling's soul. That hit home for me. I always mark out for The Rock's eyebrow, the people's eyebrow, the Rock bottoms, the people's elbow. But Dwayne's self-absorbed comments make it hard to root for him. He's at the top, but he's acting like he's bigger than the business. Remember when he came back, was it 2013? When he had a shirt that said "Boots to Asses 24/7? Remember that? Implying he was the hardest worker in the business? Yeah, not so much. This drama points to a possible bigger issue, and that's the creative tensions between Dwayne and Triple H. WrestleMania 41's weak finish feels like a casualty of Dwayne's absence, leaving fans like myself feeling cheated after the Elimination Chamber hype. The Rock would have owned that moment in the ring, but Dwayne? Yeah, he chose to sit it out. Fans are divided. Some agree with LaGreca, saying Dwayne's comments validate wrestling's critics. Others defend him, claiming he's just being real. For me, I love The Rock's WWE passion, but Dwayne's Hollywood-driven narcissism is pulling him away from the fans who made him a star. This isn't just about WrestleMania 41. It's about whether Dwayne respects the wrestling world that gave The Rock his start. His ego seems to be calling the shots, and that's a tough pill for me, this fan of 30 plus years, to swallow. So, what's next? Dwayne's tied up with movies like The Smashing Machine and his TKO board role. But I'm hoping The Rock returns to the WWE to remind us why we love The Rock. A SummerSlam or WrestleMania 42 appearance could redeem this mess, but only if he leaves his ego at the door. I mean, Cody Rhodes, he's promised big twists in 2025. And I'm crossing my fingers for a storyline that brings The Rock back to his roots. And as for Dave LaGreca, he's still out there fighting for wrestling's heart. And I got to say, I'm right there with him, cheering on for the business we love. And as a Rock fan, I want to see him be the most electrifying man of all of sports entertainment again. But Dwayne, check your ego at the door. So what do you think? Is Dwayne's narcissism hurting the legacy of The Rock, or is Dave LaGreca overreacting? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And that's all I have for today, folks. The WrestleMania 41 drama, and yeah, it's been a week and it's still buzzing. So if you like this deep dive, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a moment of the action. I do post content daily here on the channel, so feel free to check it out anytime. And yeah, I will have some more wrestling hot takes. I plan on doing some Monday Night Raw reviews in the future. I did one this past week. I'm going to start doing them on a weekly basis on Tuesdays, so keep an eye out for those. And with that, I'll see you guys later.